I think atheist activism is very, very important. People shy away from the word atheism. Even people who don't believe in God often shy away from the word atheism and prefer to use words like agnostic or humanist. And that's fine, I've no problem with that. I think people prefer to self-identify with particular terms, and it enables people to get involved in campaigning at whatever level they feel most comfortable with, using whatever self-identifying label that they feel most comfortable with. But I would ask people who don't believe in gods to consider using the word atheist whenever they feel comfortable doing so, because it's only by people who are seen to be reasonable people, self-identifying as atheists, that the stigma that is attached to atheism will gradually be dissipated. I think some of the normal concerns that people have about self-identifying as atheists are misplaced. One, I think, is the idea that atheism is about certainty. And it's not. Atheism is about your position based on the currently best available evidence with regards to the nature of reality, with regards to how ethical behaviour is formulated, etc. And because you take a position on that based on the currently best available evidence, it doesn't mean that you have to say that you could not be mistaken in order to identify as atheist. The second point that I think is very important is the use of the term agnostic as a kind of middle ground between atheism and theism. And I think that's the way that most people look at it. They see a sort of scale with atheism at one end and theism at the other end, and in the middle there's something called agnosticism, which is, well, I don't know really. Now, actually, agnosticism is not really related in that way to atheism and theism. Atheism and theism are assertions about what you believe or don't believe. Agnosticism is an assertion about claims of knowledge. And that's a different realm of inquiry, it's a different type of assertion. So you can believe that there is a God or believe that there is not a God, and yet not claim to know that your belief is correct. And so you could be an agnostic and an atheist, or an agnostic and a theist. They're different realms of inquiry. And saying that you're an agnostic is, an accurate statement if you're saying, I don't know whether or not gods exist. But it's not saying anything about whether you believe gods exist or not. It's a distraction in a certain sense from the issue of whether you believe gods exist or not. And whereas in one sense you can be, technically we should be agnostic about everything, in that the only way that we know whether anything is correct is that we're judging that our beliefs about it correspond to reality. And our beliefs exist in our mind, and the only thing that we can use to test the accuracy of our beliefs is our mind. So we've got a circular thing going on there that if you want to be strictly philosophically correct about it, you would have to say you're agnostic about everything. So saying that you're agnostic about gods in a way that you don't say you're agnostic about, say, David Icke's claim that George Bush and Queen Elizabeth are blood-eating snakes or space lizards, is a kind of an inconsistency. Because once you're exposed to the idea that George Bush is a blood-eating space lizard, you either believe that it's true or you believe that it's false. Now, you may believe or disbelieve with a large degree of certainty or a small degree of certainty, a large degree of doubt or a small degree of doubt. But once you're exposed to the idea, you do believe one way or another. There are certain types of issues, such as if I toss a coin and hide it and say, okay, that's come down heads or tails, what do you believe it is? Where you can genuinely say, well, look, I have absolutely no information to go on. I don't know whether it's heads or tails, and I don't believe that it's heads, or I don't believe that it's tails, because there's literally no information to go on. But with issues such as the existence of gods, or whether or not George Bush and Queen Elizabeth are blood-eating space lizards, You do have information to go on. You have your normal evidence of how the world seems to operate, and you'll take a position based on that. And whether you're strictly technically agnostic or not, that's a different issue to whether you believe it or not. So I do think it's important because that people aren't afraid, people who don't believe in God aren't afraid to say that they're atheist. Because it's a pretty unremarkable position, really. It's just really saying that you believe that the world and the universe are broadly as they appear to be. And that we don't need to invent supernatural beings in order to explain the nature of reality, or in order to explain how we come to our ethical norms. And the more people openly self-identify as atheists or choose to in certain circumstances, the sooner the position will be seen as a more respectable one.